Summarize spoken text. This is one of the important ones in speaking module. Here it tells you if the audio clip is from a presentation, a lecture, an interview, or anything else, and this shows your preparation time. This is your volume adjustment bar. You can use this to adjust the volume, and this shows the progress of the audio clip, the prompt. Here is your text field. It's where you write the summary. You can use your mouse to cut, copy, and paste, and this shows the word count. Summarize spoken text in listening is the counterpart to retail lecture in speaking module. I have a big 19-minute section on that in my speaking course. If you need to enroll in that one, make sure to use the promo code. I don't want you to pay full price for that. Having that said, so the difference between the two is that here you write your answer in up to 70 words and multiple sentences, while there you say it, you speak within 40 seconds. But the answer and the techniques look very similar. In both you're summarizing and you need to make sure to include the main point and very briefly include supporting points. Missing the main point can cost you a lot here and there. It's important to identify what the whole text is really about. There are 2 or 3 of this question in a PTE exam. You get 12 seconds to prepare, to listen to the clip and get yourself your pen and your notebook ready and to concentrate. Get your mind off of anything else and focus. The audio played is usually about 60 to 90 seconds long. You'll be given 10 minutes to prepare your answer for this question, which I believe is very tight. That 10 minutes is going to be used for typing your notes, forming sentences, checking for spelling errors and typos, and checking for grammar, spelling, and punctuation. For grammar, specifically pay more attention to tenses, subject, verb, agreement, and order. For punctuation, check out right use of commas and full stops and caps letters at the beginning of each sentence. Each sentence must begin with a caps letter and end with full stop. This question type is timed separately from the rest of listening question types. So if you manage to finish before 10 minutes, don't click next. Keep proofreading your response and keep checking everything, because it does not mean that you're saving time for the rest of the question types. And other 7 questions are within one timing limit, so you can save time for next questions, but not here. Summarize spoken text is limited separately. You can write 50 to 70 words. I've explained this before and also in my other course, but I repeat it here again, that out of that 70 words, you want to make sure to use at least 67, 68 with good content. Every word here is an opportunity for you to get content marks. Scoring. There's no negative marking. This score is very much based on whether you identify and mention main points or just miss them and talk about insignificant and peripheral parts. In fact, it's so important that you will receive 0 marks for the question if your response is completely irrelevant. Again, as mentioned for writing sections, use either British or American spelling, not a mix. If you're using S's, it should be the same all throughout your test. If you're using Z, it should be the same all throughout your test. Also for other spelling differences like OU or O, or how, for example, center is spelled differently in American and British spelling. Now, let's see how to answer this question. Be careful not to mix this up with summarized writing as well, since both have written answers between 50 to 70 words long. The difference, other than that being a written text and this is spoken one, is that you can write more than one sentence here. So again, just be careful not to mix these two up. Write down as much as you can, especially new terms, definitions, statistics, and more. You do not need to write down name of people, but instead you can refer to their title or role. This is what specifically PTE guide says. You can use the exact words from the spoken text. So create a balanced mix of exact words and paraphrase ones for an ideal answer. You can either start retelling from your point of view or speaker's point. So for example, you may choose to start with the lecturer said global warming is eradicating more and more species of the planet every year, or just say, here's another point of view. The lecture was about global warming eradicating more and more species of the planet every year. Okay, so these are two different types that you can narrate that summary. Some teachers say you need to open your summary with the topic, meaning that, for example, you start with the lecture discussed couple of theories in biology, and that's the main topic of the spoken text. And this is because in the official guide, it explicitly says sub-skills tested, identifying the topic, theme, or main ideas. So I think this is a good practice to mention the main topic very briefly, like in a short sentence. At the end, make sure to check grammar, punctuations, and paragraphing. For example, make sure to use correct tense for all verbs, meaning that if you say, for example, the lecturer said, other words should come in past tense as well, according to the first one. Or for example, for paragraphing and punctuation, check that the first word of every sentence is capital, and start each new topic in a new line, or finish each sentence with full stop. So make sure to review them for all these things. In summarized questions, you should use keywords as well as appropriate synonyms. I always advise to use a combination. For those keywords which you know good synonyms for, use the synonyms. And for the rest and the main 2-3 keywords, use the exact same word from the text or lecture. So use a balanced combination. To get an even better mark, try using higher level words, create good sentences with adding adverbs, for example, but do this only and if only you're confident about it. We don't want you to try and use complex grammatical structures or really hard vocabulary and have errors, because use a mid-level kind of vocabulary and grammar, but having no errors is going to get you a better mark than trying and failing in using more complicated stuff. Now, how to write that summary? First of all, have your pen and notepad handy, and if you type faster than you write with pen, then get ready to type in your prep time. Concentrate and start writing down key points. This usually also includes any years, names, locations, books, new terms, definitions, facts, and statistics that are mentioned in the spoken text, as well as other key parts contributing to the core concept of the whole talk. Try not to just write separated words, because trust me, you're gonna struggle remembering what was the sentence and what was it all about. Listen to your guts and decide quick. If you think you're gonna struggle remembering, then just write a little bit more about that part. If not, just write the word. If the sentence, for example, is, this is an example, an app screen should have sufficient information corresponding to the web page. This is a sentence. Then think how many and which words of this sentence to write to be able to remember and regenerate the concept when you want to summarize. If, for example, you just write app information and corresponding, it's very likely you don't remember what it was about and what the sentence was. Again, don't forget to capture the key parts related to the core concept. For example, if the piece is about natural selection and Darwin's name, his books, important milestones in his career, blah, blah, if they're all mentioned, don't get carried away with all of that and forget to include keywords related to the very topic, which could be Darwinism, natural selection, or survival of the fittest. That's the main topic. Don't get carried away with peripheral examples. So you really should put most of your attention into listening to understand the topic and important points. If you don't pay attention to the lecture itself and start writing down words you hear, not only you get keywords mixed up with non-valuable words, but also you're going to look at your notes and you feel like you can't create one single sentence with them because you don't know anything about what it was about. You have a bunch of keywords there, but you don't remember what the main topic was about. So to sum up everything we said really quick, in your preparation time, get ready to type or get your pen and notepad ready. Write down the keywords and important words in the most brief way, but also in a way that you're going to be able to regenerate those sentences and information. And put your main focus to understand the topic, to understand the lecture, because if you understand it well, you're even going to be able to regenerate sentences and just summarize what you understood from scratch. Write down up to at least 67 to 68 words, and make sure to review for any errors in grammar, punctuation, spelling, paragraphing. Emergency section. Emergency section. What if things go wrong? In real world, which is away from your computer, when you actually sit the test, you might get topics for this section which you know remotely nothing about. This can make things hard. This can make you nervous and unable to follow the speaker, and so you'll end up missing many bits of the voice clip. Well, do you remember all the 1,000 times that I told you try to pay attention to the topic and to be able to follow it better or even rebuild it if needed? That comes handy in cases like this. In a situation where you miss a big part of the voice clip and have not written down more than just a couple of keywords, you should try to rebuild the lecture yourself. By that, I mean include those few keywords you managed to write down and build sentences revolving around the general concept of discussion. You didn't understand it, but you know what it was about. For example, I might listen to a lecture about quantum physics, and I didn't understand it, but I know it was about quantum physics. That way, you still manage to get good writing and content scores. Let's talk about an example. Imagine the topic was Tesla electric cars, but you didn't get it and you weren't familiar with the topic at all. You only managed to write down 4 keywords: Tesla, electric, release date, and cars. But you don't know what is what. Okay, just start writing sentences with these keywords that you have and try to keep it within the topic that you can understand from these 4 keywords: Tesla, electric, release date, and cars. Okay, so the sentences that I can make with these, imagining that I don't have any idea what Tesla is and what the topic was, could be something like this. Tesla release date is announced, and the electric products will be released in the near future. Another one. Number of cars are increasing these days, and electric industry is going to affect that. Another one. Electric product can be a great help when it comes to air pollution, and that's why the release date of those products are important, especially cars. Another one. Electricity is a great source of energy, especially for cars and Tesla. So I used about 69 words. I made sure that I used perfect grammar, have no grammar errors, and I made sure that my spelling is right. I didn't use any words that I don't know how to spell, and I made sure that my punctuation and paragraphing is right. This can get me a really good mark for this section, with only managing to write down 4 keywords and having no idea what the subject was about.